Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? Jared Fuller here, watching on this Sunday before Halloween edition of my video update. Today is Sunday, October 29th, 2K17. So glad you could watch this week. My voice probably sounds a little different. I just woke up a few minutes ago. My gums still hurt right now from when I had my teeth pulled last week. I had taken my antibiotic and pain pill early this morning, and I tried to do a video update, but the pain meds were making me drowsy and sleepy, and my vocabulary and the words weren't coming out the way that they should have come out. And so I decided that after I get in some few hours of sleep, I would go ahead and make this video. And yeah, I apologize, I do sound a little different. But anyway, there were a few things I wanted to get out of the way, and then I'll go about my merry way. So a few things I wanted to talk about. First of all, there's an event coming up on November 10th, which falls on a Friday. It's a comedy night up here at the Riverfront Grill in Chesaning for Braden Buddy Boy Miller. He has DIPG, as many of you know, and I'm still currently doing a fundraiser for him. The comedy night will begin at 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $20. I'll be there. I got my my ticket, quote-unquote ticket, yesterday. I met a friend of the family up at Frank's Supermarket, and I had the money, and so I just met him in the parking lot and handed him the money. So I'll be there on the 10th of November, and on the 11th of November, which falls on Saturday, which is Veterans Day, there's an event for Bryson and Preston Ricker. It's a charity event all the way out in Kent City, out by, I think, Grand Rapids. So, or maybe Kent County, probably nowhere near Grand Rapids, but it's in Kent County. So I'll be there, or at least I'll try to make it. But what I'll do is I'll leave early in the morning, because the doors open, I think, at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to leave quite early. I'm lucky if I'll get a few hours of sleep in after I get back home from Buddy's charity event. But, yeah, that's where I'll be. November 10th, I'll be at Riverfront, and then on the 11th, I will be out in Kent City. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, if you see me, if you recognize my face, and if you spot me at Riverfront or out in Kent City, please come up and say hi. You know, my name's Jared Fuller. Don't be shy. Come up and say hi. Man, I'm just so full of rhymes this morning. Telling me I should write a poem. I have been asked to be a guest on an internet radio show, which relates to childhood cancer, given that I'm a survivor. The internet radio show hasn't been set up just yet, but I've been communicating with the founders of the group, or of the radio station, via email, and they asked me for my story. I had given it to them, and we're working on that. I may be a guest on their internet radio show. It's called Ziggy Zoo Radio. And the video that you saw on my channel, it's called For Ziggy Zoo Radio. What they've done is they've asked people to make a short video of themselves and the kind of cancer that they have, or the kind of cancer that they had, and just kind of give a little bit of detail. Mine lasted, I think, 20 seconds or so. I don't remember. It's how, you know, it's how fastly I forget things. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna put that into a collage of you know, make it into one long video. They're gonna put it into a collage. So, and they asked us to do it, and I participated. But yeah, they've asked me to be a guest on their show, on their internet radio show when it gets launched. Looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. There's something else. Or did I hit everything? So I'm trying to remember what I wanted to talk about this morning. I think those were the three main... Oh, yeah, and I got my teeth pulled last week, of course, in Flint. I had like 12 shots of Novocaine, and I felt like 7 out of the 12 shots. I felt a little bit of pressure in the roof of the mouth. Not a lot. It wasn't unbearable. I mean, I had the laughing gas, and, you know, I had a topical numbing solution. So I felt just a little bit of pressure. I felt the drills. I heard the little whee sound. So, yeah. There is some pain involved. I'm still feeling minimal pain, but mainly on this side. I had my upper wisdom pulled out, and a front tooth was removed. Now, all that out of the way. Oh, and I'm taking Tylenol 3s and penicillin for that. For the pain and for the infection. So now, I wanted to reserve the last portion of this video to talk about something that happened last week within the childhood cancer community. I find things out surreptitiously. I don't, go behind people's backs and spy on them. Contrary to popular belief that I have some fake Facebook account, and I don't. So I was told last week, I was notified last week that my opposition, and I think by now a majority of you know who he is, but my opposition, once again, had bitten off more than he could chew. And it landed him in a bit of hot water. And I don't have the Facebook post in front of me, but something to the nature of, if a child runs out of treatment options, then how much money does a family really need? Which, by the way, I find to be one of the most appalling, disgusting things that anybody could ever say, especially to a parent who is already going through the worst of the worst, I would say. Something that I would never ask, something that I would never think about in a million years is, well, the kids are dying anyway, so why, how much money do they really need? That's what a lot of people got from that post. Like I said, of course, I don't have the post in front of me, so I don't know the words verbatim. But what I understand, it was a two-part post. The first question was, how much money do parents really need if there are no more treatment options? And then the second part, he was talking about families who abuse the system. Yeah, kind of, the irony is so thick and the hypocrisy is running rampant in this video. Or not the video, the post, rather. So let me just kind of dissect this a little bit and give you my opinion on what this asshat had to say on Facebook. And like I said, I know it's not verbatim what he said, but I'm just going to weigh in on this a little bit. First of all, when it comes to your children, I don't believe that there is a single limit on what any parent should do to ensure that their child's final days on this planet are met with making beautiful memories, sharing laughter, smiles, and yes, maybe crying some tears. Every last waking moment that any parent spends with their child, knowing that the end is near, you can't put a limit on that. You cannot put a price on that. I'm not a bereaved parent, so I personally wouldn't know. And I'm not a parent of a child who is dying, so I obviously wouldn't know. But generally speaking, a childhood cancer survivor, and, because my dad and I have even had these discussions, and I even had a talk with my mother about this. I said, if the case were such that I was dying, and you and Dad knew this, that there was no chance for me whatsoever to survive my cancer battle, I am almost certain that you would pull out every stop and you would overturn every rock to ensure that you would make my last living days as memorable as possible. And I know my parents quite well, and they agreed with me. They said, well, yeah, we tried to do that when you were battling because we were scared and we didn't know. We didn't know if you were going to live or die. And we tried to make good memories with you, although it wasn't always successful. And there were some moments that made us emotional, especially when I was sitting in the middle of my hospital bed, surrounded by the hair that had fallen off my head, and another rhyme, from the chemo and the radiation that caused that. And I looked at my parents and said, I'm okay, don't cry. I wasn't okay, and the situation was not okay. But for anybody, and I could expect that from him. His arrogance, once again, had shown. And it's time that the people woke up to him, and they certainly have. And I cannot be more grateful and happy to know that people have finally had enough of him and his bullshit. And they woke up and they walked out of his life. They got rid of him. It should have happened a long time ago, and he should have vanished into obscurity a long time ago. But I was patient. Now, people come to me and ask me questions about him. I tell you the truth. And there are still undoubtedly a lot of people who defend him. Oh, well, he's done so many wonderful things and blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry. That none of that matters now. And you people who continuously defend him, please stop, because I'm telling you right now, and mind you that these are, some of those people are mutual friends of him and myself, and I still talk to those certain people. And I don't say this out of disrespect, but please stop, because you're not doing the childhood cancer community any favors by defending him. It is about time that people knew about him and they woke up to him. And maybe now, looking at this objectively, maybe the people who had some kind of beef against me at some point in time for some reason, maybe now they will look at me differently, knowing that I was telling the truth the whole time. Now, there's a lot of people, like I said, they're mutual friends. But I can almost guarantee that there are still a lot of people who just worship him. They kiss his butt. And they don't care if the things that he said were true. Or, the people took it the wrong way. No, they didn't take it the wrong way. I'm not even on Facebook anymore, and I didn't take it the wrong way. How arrogant and egregious do you have to be to get on Facebook and ask such a stupid, fallacious question as, well, there's no more treatment options, so how much money should the parents receive in fundraisers? Do you think there should be a limit? I mean, the kids are going to die anyway, basically is what he's saying. Well, there's no hope, so why then should they continuously get money? Well, I'll tell you why they should continuously get money. It's because even after the fact, when their children pass away, they're still stuck with astronomical bills. Why do you think, and yes, apart from the fact that there are scammers out there, you're one of them, by the way, my opposition, apart from the fact that there are scammers on GoFundMe, and there are fake pages, GoFundMe is set up and designed specifically for people who are in those situations. When a loved one passes away and they cannot pay for the cost of a funeral because they didn't have life insurance, and we're talking about people who, like the hospital bills. I have no doubt in my mind that hospital bills for most families are in the millions. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making that up. I remember on Facebook I saw that where there were some families that said, the hospital bills are in the millions. There's no way we can afford that. We cannot pull that kind of money out of our butt. And they can't. They were struggling even before their child had passed away. And I really do sympathize with those people. I really do. And those people being my extended family, I consider. And as far as, there are enough families abusing the system. Well, first of all, who made you, Mr. Opposition, chairman of the board, on deciding who gets enough money, or should there be a limit on fundraisers? Second of all, you of all people would be the first to spotlight that or to speak up about it and say, well, you know what? There's a lot of people abusing the system. A lot of the families. You're one of them. You have been playing on the emotions of people for far too long. And they woke up to you in your crap. And it's about damn time. Okay, so they didn't walk away because of, when they asked me what my opinions were of you, and I told them straight, they didn't leave because of that. And that's okay. This isn't about competition. It never was about competition. But these people are starting to realize, and they have realized, just the kind of moron you are. And they woke up to you, and I am so grateful and thankful. You know what? Good job. Good job. A round of applause. I applaud the people who walked away from you, and I applaud the fact that you have once again displayed your ignorance. Because I knew it was just a matter of time. I sit back, I let things go. Although I don't have Facebook, I can't see what goes on Facebook. I'm only told by people who still have Facebook, because I still talk to people who still use Facebook. So, how dare you even say something so stupid? Well, there's enough families abusing the systems. Well, you're not a family, but you are one of those people who have abused. You give advocates a bad name. And anybody who's ever said that, Jared Fuller is the real cancer in the childhood cancer community, boy, have I heard that before. Well, I think they found out who the real cancer is. And it's not me. If you want to get, poetic about that. But the real cancer is the fact that children are getting the shaft. We don't need people like you representing kids with your ignorant and blatant comments on Facebook. I mean, what did you expect? Backlash was going to happen. When you come out on Facebook as saying something so stupid as, well, I think parents should have limits on how much money they get. After all, their kids are going to die. The treatment options, they've run out of options, so why should they keep getting money? You asshole. How dare you? And I was also told just last night before I went to bed that now my opposition is, I sacrificed so much of my life and my time and my money for people. I had to live in my truck. I only ate $15 in meals. Boo freaking who. Some of us have actually lived in a car, one of those people being me, when I was 6 years old, because we had nowhere else to go. That wasn't our choice. And there's people who don't even get that much money in food. There's people sleeping in the streets. Why don't you go complain to them? You did this on your own accord. It was your choice. No one told you you had to do it. And complaining about sleeping in a truck, boy, there's, you know, and this is one thing I mention too a lot of the time. You know, you complain about sleeping in your truck and being so cold and, oh, it's so dark and scary. Well, let me tell you another place that's dark and cold and scary. It's called a hospital room. At least you're not in a hospital. I'm sure majority of those children, if not all of them, would give absolutely anything to trade places. They don't want to be in a hospital. They didn't choose to be in a hospital. You chose to, quote-unquote, walk away from your high-paying job, and you sacrificed so much of your time and your money. That was your choice. Not to mention that I also remember reading somewhere that, well, what I'm doing now has never been done before. Ah, so you did want to be the first, and you are doing this for the notoriety. See, the problem that we have there is you're speaking out of turn about things that you are not qualified to even have discussions with. You are in no position to be having those kinds of talks with anybody. You've never had to go through that. You don't have a kid with cancer, and you certainly have never had to bury one of your own children. And that's not to say, well, Jared, you're not qualified to talk about that either. Of course not. And I'm not claiming that I am. But even I know what my limits are, and I certainly would not say things to people like, well, I think there should be a limit on fundraisers when they've run out of treatment options. That is horseshit. The families need all the help they can get, even after their children fade away. And how dare you get on Facebook and play chairman of the board and make decisions that, you know, every situation is different, and you're going to make decisions for those people? Who are you to say who gets what and how much? You can go to hell. Oh, and yeah, I know this video will probably get shared on Facebook now, because now that I'm talking about the initial nature of the post, there's people who troll my YouTube channel, and they are cronies of his, and they're probably 9 chances out of 10 going to share this on YouTube, on Facebook. Oh well, good, because I find things out. I don't go searching for the answer. People come to me and say, hey, this is what we, you know, did you hear about this, this, and this? And it's like, no, fill me in. I want to know. So I've recently been talking to the grandmother of a cancer warrior from Texas, and she had, well, she's against my opposition now, which is, I think is beautiful. But she turned to my opposition at one point and asked him to look for a generator, because, you know, they had Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma. It knocked power out to a lot of people, and her granddaughter, the cancer warrior, she needed, you know, the machines to help her breathe and to help keep her alive. And without electricity, you know, how are you going to do that? And she turned to my opposition, because at that time it was not her opposition, but is now, and I can't emphasize that enough. But anyway, she turned to him and said, could you please, look into, a source that could help us get a generator. Mind you, she didn't ask him to go out and buy a generator. She didn't even ask him for money so they could go and buy a generator. It's not what she did. All she said was, could you please check with a source that could help us get a generator. He sandbagged her. He says, well, I haven't had time to revisit the situation. Revisit the situation. Well, the situation hasn't changed. And mind you, this was long before the hurricanes even hit. I mean, it is just... wow. It's that sheer ignorance. And now she found out just exactly what kind of a jerk he really is. And we've been talking. And I don't like to be the guy that said I told you so, but you people are finding out the hard way. Like I said, we've been talking on the phone. She's friends with my dad on Facebook, as far as I know. I mean, it's really stupid. If I had the money, if I had all the money in the world, these families would get the help they need. And that's just the bottom line to that. I don't care how far away they live, I would help them. And, I want to go back a minute to what I was saying earlier about what he said in the post about families abusing the system and frauding. Because I guess it was brought up that, well, people think I'm a fraud. They want to accuse me of being a fraud, and now I want to see proof. He wants proof from us that he's frauding people. Well, my response to that is you haven't really given us any reason to show us that you have not been doing it. We haven't seen any records anywhere. We haven't seen any books, we haven't seen receipts, we haven't seen tax forms or tax receipts of any kind whatsoever. So you're asking us, you're trying to shift the burden of proof on us that, well, you're making the claim that I'm a fraud. Well, it's out in the open. It stands on its own merit. You are frauding people. You are preying on the emotions of the gullible and the feeble and the vulnerable. That's proven each and every time. And now you're trying to shift the burden of proof on those who are making the claim that you're a fraud. Well, you haven't really necessarily convinced anybody that you're not a fraud. You haven't shown us any kind of, like I said, no tax receipts, no tax forms, no receipts of any kind, no book ledgers showing where the money goes, how much of the money that you keep to keep your precious little truck on the road. It is just absurd. Now you're trying to shift the blame on people who call you out on your bullshit. Congratulations, but you have failed again miserably. And people should also be aware that his page that he talks about, his little Facebook page, it is not a 501c3 nonprofit organization. A lot of people have been duped into thinking that it is, and it's not. Because I was told also, not too long ago, that he has two pages. One of his pages say that it is a nonprofit organization. The other page says diddly about nonprofit organization. So, which is it? Is it or is it not a 501c3? I'm leaning more towards the latter, that it's not a 501c3 and it's not even pending. So I really and truly don't know why people would even more be convinced that it is. Because he's got 2 pages. One of them says it's a nonprofit. One of them says it's nothing about nonprofit. And how much you want to bet after this video goes out on my YouTube channel, he or one of his cronies is going to see this and he's going to go back and edit his Facebook page real quick. It's too late for that. It's too late for that. You have dug yourself a great big hole. Just one, I mean, it is just a cavalcade of lies and failures, one right after the other. And the people are finally catching on to you. And that makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, knowing that you're coming down. People are on to you. And, like I said, this may change the way people see me now. I don't know. I like to think it does. And that they know that I wasn't just making this shit up about him being a jerk and a person who has been dishonest all along. Yeah. I tried to tell you guys, and I'm sorry that you have to find all this out the hard way. But now you know that I wouldn't lie about something so serious. Now you people know this. I've been trying to tell you all along, he is not someone who deserves any kind of reverence or honor. He doesn't deserve anything positive that he's trying to get from this. Because with him, advocacy for childhood cancer is a pissing contest. It's a witch hunt. It's bogus. Now, when I became an advocate back in, I'd say, 2013, 2014, my intentions were never to be number one. For most people who advocate childhood cancer, that's exactly what it is. And they try to cover up that idea, and every time they try to cover it up, they only make themselves look worse. When they have to lie, they have to lie about lies, and they use lies to cover up those lies, and so on and so forth. It's like removing a stain out of a carpet. When you pat it down with a wet, damp cloth, you're just making the stain bigger. It's stupid. But there are people who are doing this specifically to be the figureheads, to be the number one. And my opposition that I speak of today, and most every week that I do these video updates, that is his directive. That is his goal. He has no qualifications in pediatric medicine. The closest qualification he has to pediatric medicine is a Google search. He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He's not a practitioner. He has his hands tied nowhere into the medical field. He has no degrees or PhDs in extensive study and research pertaining to modern medicine or pediatric medicine of the kind. He's not equipped to have discussions. This man is so knowledgeable, but yeah, whatever. Bashaw. So he did a Google search. You know who else does Google searches? 5-year-olds. This day and age, a 5-year-old can Google anything, and voila, there it is, right at their fingertips. So, but now you people are waking up to this. Now you have realized the kind of jerk that he is, and he's very egomaniacal. He has a personality that when your eyes aren't focused on him all the time, then you've given up on him. Or, well, you don't believe in me and this, that, and the other, which is a load of crap. And there, like I said, there are mutual friends of, because I still talk with certain people, and they still believe in him. I don't know why. I don't know why they do. It's beyond me after this recent chain of events where he exposed himself as a leeching jerk, and I could say something much, much worse, but I'm refraining. It's like you people, you're continuously defending him and, oh, sweetie pie, honey bunch sugar, darling, just cut it out. It is disgusting. Just knock it off, because you're not doing him any favors, you're not doing yourself any favors, and most importantly, you're not doing the children any favors. You are, you're not doing the childhood cancer community as a whole any favors. And I realize I'm speaking to people who have lost children and they still believe in him. I get that. And again, like I said, I sympathize with those people who they turned to him when they were in dire straits. I get that. But how then can you continue to walk lockstep with this guy, knowing the kind of arrogant asshole that he's been on Facebook and continues to be? How can you do that? Especially the people who have lost kids, which this is where I have a hard time coming to how does that happen? The people who have lost children, or they've had kids battle cancer, and they're survivors. Either way, but preferably more so the bereaved parents. How do you continue to follow a guy who thought that it would be okay to talk about limits on fundraisers? Because, quite frankly, there's no hope for these kids, so there should be a limit on how much money that a parent gets. How can you, the bereaved parent, someone who has lost a child, how can you be okay with that? How? Well, I think it was taken out of context. No, stop making excuses for him. Quit defending him. How can you be okay with that? Well, because we genuinely know that he has a good heart. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And wow. Just, are you kidding? A good heart? Wow. I mean, I just find that to be absolutely bizarre. That you people you continue to defend him, and my God, I don't understand it. I will say that no matter what happens, I'm here if you need to talk, and that is my house phone, and we will see who that is. That is my brother. Dad,
yeah.
It's Jay. Say hello.
Hello.
That's my brother Jay. But I don't understand how you people are okay with this.
No, I plugged it in last night. I shut it off and plugged it in, so I'm going to try it here in a minute.
It's my brother Jay.
Yeah?
I might have Jay join me one of these days for a Sunday video update. He could join me and we can just kind of talk and shoot the shit like brothers do, Oh yeah, I'm drinking coffee out of my Sparty cup this morning too. I'm an East Lansing kind of a guy, Oh yeah, and I'm wearing my Fight to the Finish sweatshirt that I got from Cancer Warrior brother Finn. And I'm still wearing the bracelets. I'm not going to quit. wearing these bracelets. No way. And I will say that there were times when I have thought about giving up.
And, yeah, my phone is on.
And I'm not giving up.
Nope. Nope.
We'll wait just a minute.
It got nothing on it. No missed calls or anything. Alright, I'll try calling you offline. Bye.
There you go. Well,
I'm going to try to call him offline.
oh, and if it don't go, my dad's been having trouble with his phone, his cell phone lately. I'm doing my Sunday video update right now.
There
But
it is. October 28th?
that was yesterday.
Yeah. And nothing today.
Yeah. You've been having problems with that phone. Well, it seems you're up. Come over here for a minute. Dad?
Okay.
Sometime today would be would be perfect.
What?
Just come over here and say hi to the people.
Hello, people.
This is my dad. Just wave, look at the green light.
How you doing?
This is going to go on my YouTube channel. This is my my Sunday video updates that I do, and they're going to see this. But that was my dad. But anyway, guys, that's about all I wanted to talk about this week. That's about it. Please just continue to do your homework on advocates, take notes. I made a video called Take Notes on Advocates for a reason, and that is the reason why. You know what, Dad? Are you on the phone?
Yeah, no, it's working.
I might
No.
want some input from my dad, because my dad isn't really thrilled about what's been said either. So I'm going to give him a minute to wrap up his conversation with my brother, and then he can come over here and share his opinions.
Right, 12 o'clock. Yeah, that's off. Call Rob. Call with Rob. Again.
Hey, Dad. Come here a minute. I want you to, just briefly, if you will, I want you to share some opinions about this guy that I'm talking about. I haven't said his name. Don't mention his name. I just want you, I want to know what your opinions are of him. You know who I'm talking about, right?
My opinions of that man?
Yeah. He's not a man, by the way.
I think what they ought to do is hang him for what he's doing, taking the money that he has no business even saying that he's an advocate for him, because he don't know what he's talking about. He's never had a child that's had cancer. He don't know how people feel. He says he knows how a person feels. He ain't got the slightest idea.
And you do.
And I do. I've been through it. And I also know other people that's been through it. And with him saying what he is, and what he's doing, he's just taking advantage of a whole lot of people, taking the money for his own enjoyment. I want him to come to Michigan because I want him to see me. We got some problems if he comes to Michigan. Alright, we'll talk to you later, guys.
Thanks, Dad. And there you have it.
Yep.
So, that's my dad. He tells it like it is, and I'm not gonna.
I don't either, because it just.
I'm not gonna stop him. I'm not gonna censor him. But anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about this week. And like I said, there are some events coming up. You can catch me at Riverfront Grill on November 10th at 8:30. That's where I'll be at for a fundraiser for Buddy Boy. I'm currently still doing a fundraiser for him. Saturday, November 11th, I'll be in Kent City at Pop-Up, I think it's pronounced Picayons, and forgive me for mispronouncing that, if I can speak. And I have been asked to do an internet radio show for Ziggy Zoo Radio, which is stationed out of United Kingdom. So there's been a few things going on, and I'm looking forward to the events to come. I had my van was paid off yesterday. Woohoo! My van was paid off, and now I can start saving up money to go on trips and to meet people and to save up for plane tickets and things like that. So I am really excited. I'm looking forward to that. And, wow, I'm stoked. I cannot wait. So anyway, guys, I thank you for watching this week. And thank you for being subscribed to my YouTube channel. I will add more videos to come in the future. And we will see each other again very, very soon. Mwah. Much love and peace from Michigan, guys. Take care.